So now we're gonna kind of switch gear a little bit to your business.
Business stuff.
So yeah, business stuff.
The business.
So what do you like besides the Navy?
I've
Many
done
jobs.
so many jobs.
Yeah. Talk about we talk about the one you like the most.
Oh, let's put it into context. Right.
Yes.
My primary training and education and experience has been around technology. So everything is when I was in the Navy. When I first joined the Navy, I was set up to do that, but at that time I was too young. I was scared. I didn't care. I just did whatever. So I was doing aircraft fuels. Then I went to school to get programming degree, and I went back into the Navy, the electronics. So that's where I got myself. Now, don't get me wrong, when I was doing aviation fuels, I had fun.
Yeah.
Not a really longevity career field per se.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of jobs that, they're really narrow and they top out real fast. So I went into computers and electronics, and I've enjoyed it. But, it's one of those things that if I could hindsight look back, I would give myself a roadmap that went a bunch of different other places. So I try to do that with my kids.
Okay.
To give them what they want to do. Make sure we're going into what they want to do, but give them a broad enough thing so they can always do a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
So
see, because when you brought this up, it kind of remind myself as kind of similar, because as an Asian culture, a lot of our parents back in the days, they want you to be succeed in their eyes. They want you to be doctor, lawyer, dentist. So like my high school friend, all my guy friend at that time, they already know where they want to do, where they want to go, and who they want to be. But on the other hand, me and a few other friends, we're just more like a middle class or below. We don't know what we want to do, and luckily my parents at that time, they were busy with their businesses, restaurant business, so we kind of be on our own. So I actually just, as many people know, I went to learn films. Went to film. I didn't go to film school. I just learned. I took community college. I learned film, TV, and I didn't take a radio class. But the thing is, it's back in the 90s, it probably to many people, okay, film, TV, you don't have any future, right? But a lot of people think that way.
Yeah, a lot of people do think that way, especially when we were young.
Yeah.
In high school, a lot of people thought, because it was only certain avenues that people saw into getting into that. Right. Whereas now, nobody foresaw this stuff blowing up the way it has now.
Yeah, so
I mean, oh my God.
So like
anybody can get into it.
Yeah,
now.
So not about just getting into it, like, because I know how to edit. I know how to make movies. Right now we have YouTube. We have so many streaming, Netflix, and all the independent film festivals. So those are the opportunity, the channel, the platform that we don't have back in the 90s. So many people see that, you don't have a future. You don't have you won't be successful per se. So
no.
So
my thing with that is great. Like, I want my kids to do what makes them happy.
Exactly.
I want to do what makes me happy, but I've learned play to your strengths first.
Well, long-term investment, how do I put it this way? Okay, I believe you should have a short-term, mid-term, and long-term plans. So long-term, you pretty much just put your money or your investment in there, like passively, like make a plan. Like I mentioned in one of the episodes, I always put, let's say, 20% of all my income, whatever they came from, whatever stream it came from, always 20%. And just leave it there, and then don't touch it, and don't look at it, don't worry about it, don't get fear or afraid about it.
Yes, it's long-term stuff.
Long-term
you
investment.
You will pull your hair out looking at that stuff every day.
Yeah, and then, like, for example, maybe you have a saving, and inflation is so high right now. Saving to invest in something or buy something, that's more like a midterm plan. Because if you saving and then you want to, let's say, buy a house, and then you put that, and then once you reach that, make sure you use that saving to buy the house, trade it in exchange to an asset instead of cash, you know? So, so that's why I say long term, short term, midterm, they all have their purpose. So,
I want to get to the point where I have built up FU money. That means I can go do whatever I want. FU. You don't like the way I look? FU. You don't like my shoes? You don't like my car? You know what I'm saying? You don't like my company?
Yeah,
I can build another one.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's more like I always like said freedom, because a lot of people, especially we educate from school, that we go get a job and we make a payment, we pay the bills, and then we buy luxury stuff, like spend the money, be a consumer instead of investor. So so now you mentioned to me you want to start a business. Right?
Yeah.
So you have some question for me. So I want you to ask me anything that you want from me, business wise, and I can try to share my experience. I'm not, I want to put a disclaimer here. I'm not super successful or anything, but I experience a lot, and I want to share with everyone.
Okay. Yeah. My biggest thing so far is I had when I had my business, I did in Maryland and Florida. So that was there, but what's a quick step? What is the quick step process of who do I talk to get my business going in California? So I want to first do what?
Okay. So first thing first is you got to find out what you want to do, right?
No, not like that. I mean, I know what I'm going to sell sneakers.
Okay, fine.
Okay, yeah. I'm going to sell sneakers. I got my EIN number from the IRS.
Okay. Yeah, that I understand. Yeah, what I'm trying to say is, let's say you want to sell sneaker. Okay, you want to sell sneaker, and then you start from here, right? So that's first step, and then second step is you gotta know where you at. Like you said before, roadmap. So you have to find you want to be sneaker, you want to do sneaker, you want to find out where you currently at on the map, and then if there's a gap this much from here to really actually selling sneaker, you need to find out how you're gonna get there. Just like GPS tell you left turn, right turn, U turn, reverse, right? And then when you reach that, you can start selling sneaker. Then you're gonna make another destination. See, where's your goal? Where you planning to do with this business? And then from that point again, define your roadmap, how to get there.
Okay, but some people have
that's the first step.
How do I get to the from there to there? Some people didn't. When I first started my first business, I didn't know the roadmap in between there. It took me a while to figure out, you need a space to store materials. Do you already have a space to store materials? If not, you're going to need a place. How much is that going to cost? What kind of space? How big of a space? What kind of materials? Are you making your own sneakers from scratch? Or are you using somebody else's product? There used to be a company called, can we say something like that?
Yeah.
Okay. It was called, I'm trying to remember the name of the company. I can't remember the name of it right now. Okay. Hopefully it'll come to me while I say this. But you could go onto their website and they had a template you could walk through and you could design your own heels. I know about it because I had a couple girlfriends not at the same time. This was at different times, but I had a girlfriend. I bought her some heels. I designed her a Sarah heels on this website. Okay. And they went through everything: colors, setup, pattern, size.
Right.
So are you going to use something like that for your sneaker? And when I say something like that, I mean, are you going to try and do a contract with this company to allow people to use their software to design sneakers? Or do you just want to use their platform Heels of Prey. That was the name. I think it was Heels of Prey.
Okay. That's okay.
But are you going to use their platform to order
Right.
a bunch of different sneakers of a certain size, certain make, set up like a brick and mortar store? Or are you going to ask this company, do you want to ask them if they would be interested in doing a drop ship setup? So you have to figure, these are the things you need to figure out before you even get to like, oh, I'm selling sneakers. Like I did, I opened up a Shopify to try, because I wanted to try my hand at the drop ship. But you do have to know what they are.
Yes and no, because as right now in our world today, we have a advantage because YouTube has a lot of people teaching you how to do stuff,
YouTube
and these are free, and it's like decentral education that you don't have to pay student loans 40K to go to school and learn something like that. And 4 years later, this thing is not hot anymore. I always say that. So that's why we are in this world, like even books, you got Grant Cardone's 10X. See, that's another thing. Or podcasts. So we have a lot of resource around us. You just need to pick and choose, like you say,
and
make a decision.
It's easier to get your hands on these resources now.
And also besides the platform and channels, there are also mentors or coach out there. Of course, you gotta choose the one that fits your personality the most.
If you can get a mentor, I think that's really great.
Yeah, to work with. So that's why I call that. Those are the shortcut. Instead of you reading 1,000-page, 800-page like a textbook, So So when you mention about reading, learning, whatever manual textbook, I recently just discovered another friend. He always say, "I go to school, I learned this, I take this class," and I said, and then I finally realized there's a difference between knowing
and doing,
and then understanding.
Oh yeah,
because knowing, understanding, and doing. Knowing is about reading, maybe writing, but probably not doing, because you gotta do to learn. And like you said, you can fail. Just expect you will fail. And failing is learning, because I failed so many times. Because I talk about e-commerce or drop shipping. I did eBay when eBay is still brand new, and PayPal was still brand new in the late 90s, early 2000s. So I did it pretty good, okay, actually. And the reason why I stopped or consider failing is because there's too many scams and fraud at that time. Because I saw like variety of things from DVDs, clothing to electronic, like cell phone. So people saw the opportunity to do something bad. So PayPal at that time does not have a very solid cybersecurity system. Because I was like that before too. As I always share on the podcast, I was like that 2 years ago. Always scared, always self-doubt, always not sure if I can do this. That's why I have podcast idea for years. I never have a courage to do it. And once I started, like I say, reading books, YouTube, to change my mindset, to change my personal development, it really can change the action. Because once you kind of change here, it will drive you to do something. Because just to give you a recent example, before last season we have a co-host, and then this season we don't have co-hosts. So I have the first episode I was supposed to do a solo show, right? So I was very afraid, fear, because my language barrier, English. But I still went ahead, did it, and Tina was helping me, of course. But then after I did that, guess what? Our subscriber on YouTube was always hovering 50, 60 for longest time. Okay, it's strange. I don't know why. And then once I did that, and I put a story, like a short clip, say I did it, blah blah blah, and then we jumped to 60, 70, and now it's like 120 something subscriber. It's weird. I don't know how to describe it. So once you hump over that hump, it will bring, it will kind of get to you to the next level automatically.
Just say I've said I do business. My first business was I sold aftermarket parts, automotive aftermarket parts.
Interesting.
And on one hand, I was doing outstanding. But on the other hand, I was totally sucking wind. I didn't understand the full ramifications of the aftermarket part for automotive parts and stuff, in that most people still want to see or know you have a brick and mortar.
How long ago was this? Recently?
It's a little over 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Most people still want to know and see that you're an automotive company. Yeah. You have a root somewhere. They want to know you have a brick and mortar. So the thing I learned was, unless you're gonna specialize like a parts store that just does generic parts, you're still gonna have a brick and mortar, but that's mostly for storage. You can't be solely online, and that's what I was trying to do at first, be solely online, and it's you really can't with that type of thing. Well, because you're still gonna even if you're just doing it out of your garage, you're still gonna have to have someplace.
Yeah, I think. Well, I have to applaud you for trying, because a lot of people, as you know, they thought about it, thinking about it, but never, pushed themselves to do it.
Oh, I met a lot of great people.
So what you just said is very good. Actually, to be honest, you were doing it kind of ahead of the time, because 10 years ago, I understand. 10 years ago, small items can be shipped online. Smaller size, but parts is big. Auto part is bigger.
Yeah, I had little parts and I had big parts.
So, but 10 years later today, it will work.
Now today,
that's why I say
I could do that exact same setup today and make it work, because every single one of those companies would drop ship for me.
Exactly. So,
because I'm still bringing business to the thing, and this difference, like. I was at car shows. I had a car. I had my own car set up with done all my parts, everything. You could, if you walked around my car and got in the car, you would find every part I sold, every aftermarket item, every power added item, every cosmetic item, and it went. The car moved. I took it to car shows with drag strips and ran it. So I had people, and I've always been good with talking to people, especially about something I'm motivated with.
Okay, that's good.
And that's another thing. It's hard to do. But if it's something you're motivated with, like you enjoy, man, you can talk to people all day. And I found a lot of people that was willing to work with me, but I didn't have that brick and mortar.
10 years ago.
Yeah, 10 years ago, I didn't have that brick and mortar, and I needed that brick and mortar, and I didn't understand how important that was.
Yeah. Well, it's okay. Like I said, at least you try and you learn, you fail. And then let's say if you want to do that again today, and it can be done online. See, you already said it can be done in dropship. See?
Yeah, it can be done online now, but if I did it now, I would probably do the brick and mortar still. So that way I could add a little more of my own spin to it. But you could do it.
So what I was trying to point out is you tried it 10 years ago. So you, again, back to the roadmap, you got from here to there, and then somehow you stop. But if you're going to finish your trip, you don't have to start from here. You see?
No. I understand a lot more about.
So what I'm trying to tell the audience or listener is that, like, if you try to start something, just start, and then you're gonna hit walls or obstacles, and then when you start fresh again, then you don't have to start from scratch. A lot of people say you have to start over, but actually not really.
Yeah. When it comes to that, it's the biggest part is, to be honest, I could have worked it back around and gotten a brick and mortar. But at the time I saw that as such a huge financial investment And I knew I was really starting to see some of the marketing angles and issues that I hadn't addressed as far as marketing myself outside of just me face to face. You know, I'm marketing myself outside of face to face, and, you know, really understanding the underlying power demographic of who's buying what, where, when, what time of year are the majority of sales for these types of items being done, stuff like that.
Yeah, so you bring like 3 points that I can kind of share with you and with everybody. So first of all, you talk about selling and marketing, and you talk about face-to-face 10 years ago. So in today, 10 years later, why we do a lot of video, why my editing skill is a hot career right now is because, see, when we're doing podcasts, one podcast, I can post 10 channels, 10 platforms, and I can speak to how many people, you know, you can imagine. So I don't need to go meet Thomas face to face and spend 2 hours on it, and I only talk to one person. But now I'm sitting here recording this show for, let's say, an hour, and I can reach thousands.
Yes.
See? So that's the power of marketing today with videos.
Yeah, and so really think is 10 years ago, my marketing, I could have put stuff online, but it's still fairly new 10 years ago.
Right. So now this is the second point for you. So in today, 10 years ago, it's like that, but 10 years later, today we have a lot of platform that you can do crowdfunding. So if you have a good idea, guess what? My movie, I made it through crowdfunding. You know, it's a low budget movie, of course, but I do crowdfunding online. I do in person. I do events to get funds. So in today's world, we have a lot of websites have that, like startup. Angel Fund,
I've been looking into a couple of them,
and then, or if you want to go old school, you can go to grant or small business loans, something like that.
One of the things I'm doing now is my next goal is 2 types of businesses. So my next goal is the business model setups for financing right now. To get all the red tape out of the way and start building so that what I really want to do can take off. A lot of people don't think so, but the government wants you to start a business.
Yes, that's correct, because they will give you incentive, because a lot of people don't understand, especially for tax advantage. I don't want to get into that because I'm not CPA. But I was trying to say earlier is financial expense. A lot of people which had a dream, like you say, want to start a business, but what stopped them is the money upfront. I feel that way too. It doesn't mean that I don't feel that way, but I started learn how to turn my mind around, because let's say I'm recording this episode. I say I spend $100, for example, and it can be expensive for other people, but I look around and think about what's my ROI?
Yeah, what's your return on investment?
Yes, and how long can I make it back? And I went to this ink file, which they will take care of your your business name, registrations, and all that, and they also have a link with the tax advisors.
That's not the host place I was telling you about.
No, it's an ink file, INC file. Yeah, so you can look at. So
what I've been looking for. I will be hitting you up later for that.
Yeah. So and
is that what you mean? You said you had some more information, but you.
So back to what you were saying, like financial or capital, raise capitals. So again, you don't have to worry about the expense as long as you plan ahead and where you want to go. Just like everything business people do is to start, and then one step.
Yes.
So what I was doing, I can share this with you. About putting your idea out from your mind instead of thinking, all overthinking is write it down. That's
Yes.
why I start journaling. Journaling is not talking about how I feel today, how I feel, what sucks. It's draw down my ideas on paper. And what does that does, because sometimes our life is so busy, we have phones, and next thing you know, I forgot what my idea is, right? But when you write it down or even record it on the phone or write it down, type it in the notes section, you will have it visually. And when you do that, you kind of have, put your imagination into reality. And what I also do is a vision board. Vision board, when I first heard of vision board was when I first joined my real estate brokerage. They have this event, like have agents get together in the every year, beginning of the year, to do vision board. I couldn't understand what that is in the beginning. I said, why you guys cut out so many magazines and pieces and put it together? What?
Yeah.
But then the time that I really understand vision board is I was living elsewhere, renting a room, and then situation got really, really bad. Okay. So when I was journaling, I say, I'm going to set my goal. I am going to move out of here December 31st, 2020. Okay. So I just put it away. And guess what? I did move out that exact day. Achieve is one thing. And the vision board that helps me is I use it digitally. I print it out. I tip it on the wall. So every morning when I wake up, I can see it kind of remind me, okay, I gotta start podcasting. I gotta start a YouTube channel.
And even if you don't look directly at it, our brains still see all the stuff in the room, and you've got it up there. And hey, those are my goals. I need to be hitting those points. Yes. They're still there. And this is where it comes down the difference between why a vision board works 1,000 times better than like I used to use my reminders app on my phone or something like that. People write stuff down on a calendar or this, these are the old school ways. People write stuff down, they put it, and then what do we do with it? We put it away. Yeah. We put it out of sight. Like my reminder thing, it's in the background of my phone. Out of sight, out of mind. You're exactly right. When you put it out of sight, it's out of mind. But the reason I think vision boards really work, and this will really help a lot of people, is because you put it all together, you throw it up on the wall. Not all of these things are going to happen in a year. And you know what? You can change them out whenever you feel like it. You can change them out.
I do one each year.
Yeah.
And then the one that I didn't achieve on that previous year, I put it back on again.
I would say that's the best way to do it.
And then also
you're going to see some of that stuff starting to come true.
Yeah. And then another thing that I want to share related to vision board is because when I shoot my movies, right? I'm a director. I also an actor, and writer. So when I write those scripts, the book that you asked me, you have a book on Amazon. It's a screenplay. So I wrote those. When I write it, I have a vision in my mind. Okay, and that vision will later I can use it and put it into reality when I shoot the movie. That I want this angle on Thomas. I want this angle on Thomas and this and that. And then as an actor at that time, I didn't have any acting training, to be honest. But then I kind of play in my mind. Okay, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna act this way. I'm gonna have tear at this point. I already kind of plan every little thing in my mind, and then I put it. Once I put it out, then it'll become reality. So this just share my little personal experience that a lot of time people think a lot of things and want to do, but they don't do, and they just wandering around in their mind.
Yeah. I had to start, had to write down ideas about stuff. Yeah. I have ideas all the time. Yeah, so I'm one of those people, like, I'll be doing something and I'm like, I need to start writing this stuff down. Something you thought was a great idea at one point, And then later on, you come back to it and you're like,
it can be, yeah.
I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah, just like when I grow up, I tell myself, I don't want to be a business person. Business owner is so boring. You know?